My name is David Ogot, Senior. I what I am doing currently, do drug abuse awareness, training, counseling, policy issues around drugs, drug abuse, life skills. My background is media. I'm a trained journalist, print and electronic. I'm a musician. I'm a DJ. I'm an author. I think my first novel came out when I was Form 5. Childhood was okay. Okay, teenagehood was in Hospital Hill Primary. Went to Lenana School via Upper Hill for 1 term, 2 terms. Then I think because I had started some behaviors, my parents felt I should be transferred to a boarding school. So I ended up in Lenana, I think 3rd term, 2nd term, something. Yeah. So that is when I started drinking and smoking cigarettes. And that is what started my 27-year journey with drugs on 2 continents. Essentially, I started in first form, basically Kenyan word, because I couldn't talk to girls. So I was misled that if girls like tough guys. So if you smoke cigarettes, guys who break the rules, you drink alcohol, you'll get a girlfriend. So I actually told them that what I know, my parents told me, you smoke cigarettes, you'll get cancer and die. And alcohol is for adults, and I do not want to upset my parents. Then they told me, then you will continue like that, because what was happening, we would go, let's say, for a debate in a girls' school, or you go for a dance, or during the holidays or half term. So you are there, and my buddies are talking to girls, and the girls are laughing, and they're cracking jokes, and they're relaxed. And then me, when it's, like a girl looks at me and says, and you, my mind goes blank, literally. And I was a very loud guy. I'm still a very loud fellow. But somehow, um, you know, I just would go blank, and then they're laughing at me, and you've gone, let's say you've gone for a dance, and so after, or let's say like a debate, then after that there's a dance, like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, something. So these guys are going to ask my girl for a dance. Then you are going, then halfway across the hall, then you turn back, then you say the next one, then the next one is the next one. So at the end of the day, you are what are called floaters. You are floating, no partner. So where you are standing, so guys would say that is the floater's corner, and then, that story goes around in girls' schools, and then guys are laughing at you. So it was stress. It was stress. So essentially, at some point, guys were smoking in the field. So I said, let me try cigarettes. So I took a puff, and of course I coughed like an idiot. And they were laughing, and they're saying, you're wasting the cigarette because you're sharing like one cigarette, several guys. But then the next day I'm there, let me try. So after about a week, I could actually smoke, and inhale and exhale through my nose. And you see, when they were telling me this, the smoking and girls like tough guys, I am running that past my head, and I'm thinking, okay, then I'm looking at the movies which were watching those days, cowboys and Indians and that kind of stuff. So you find that tough guy was always smoking and he's drinking. In fact, he's drinking spirits. He's not drinking beers or wine. He's drinking spirits, and he's drinking meat. So I'm running this through, my head, and then this stress from Floaters Corner and all this other stuff. So at the end of the day, like heading to it was like it's making sense. So heading towards second form, it was like I must drink and I must smoke, because now the alcohol I stole from my dad's cabinet when they were out of town. So I stole, you're looking at all this alcohol. My parents used to travel a lot. So you're looking at all this alcohol. So I don't know which one to pick because I've never drank. So then monkey see, monkey do. What does my dad drink? Pilsner. So that's the brand I picked. So I poured it into a glass. And of course, there's a way of pouring beer. So mine, I think, was 3/4 foam, quarter the beer, because I didn't know, there's a way you hold the glass and you tilt the glass and the bottle. Then I took a big sip and I spat it out because it tasted very bad. Actually, how it tasted, I can't say on national TV. So I said, no, but by this time I'm smoking. So when we went out during halftime, now I'm with my cigarettes and my soda, and literally the girl asked me again, what about you? I said that, again my mind went blank. So when I'm asking my guys, now I'm smoking, and they're saying, no, assignment is not complete. You're only smoking. You need to also drink alcohol. So before going to second form, I casaneered with my dad's alcohol. I'm drinking, feeling nauseous, vomiting, etc. But I was determined that either I would be able to drink or it would kill me, one of the above. So by the time I went to Form 2, I could actually drink 2 beers, and I'd even started liking the taste. So the first time we went out, now I'm with my cigarettes and I'm with my pombe, and the girl asked me, oh, and you? The stories, all these girls were laughing, even girls from the next tables were coming, and I told Jesus, thank you, problem solved. So essentially that's how I started. Now, I could drink 2 beers. Some of my friends could only drink 1. These guys who had started earlier than me. Some 1.5. Couple 2. I don't think there was anybody on 3. So now I'm drinking 2. So I've started late, but now I'm at the head of the pack. So remember that tough guy thing. Now it is, we are all drinking, we are all smoking. So who can drink more? Who can smoke more? So it's just like primary school. You climb a tree, who can climb higher? You jump from a wall, who can jump from a higher wall? But there's also something happening, because suddenly I'm drinking 2 beers, and the way I was feeling, now I'm feeling like I haven't drank. So now I'm going to 3. Then suddenly at some point 3, I'm not feeling anything. So 4. So what was actually happening, my tolerance was increasing. Tolerance, basically, I needed more of the alcohol to feel the same effect. So now don't try and compete with this guy. Now out of the tough guys, I am the toughest of the tough guys. And of course now I've moved into Form 3. Now this is again beginning to affect my studies. Again, pocket money, we used to get 200 shillings a term. That was maximum. So some guys would get 100 bob, some guys would get 50 bob. It might sound like little, but I think I remember when I was primary, we used to get for lunch 50 cents. And 50 cents could buy a soda, a packet of crisps, and you'd still have change, like 20 cents. I think when I started drinking, a beer was 1 shilling and something. But now, because of this tolerance, where are you going to be able to drink 4 beers or 5 beers in one sitting? Again, we now started going across the fence. It was called across. There was a kijiji at the boundary. So we would go to buy chapatis, whatever. Sometimes the food wasn't enough. The prefects would send us for alcohol and cigarettes. So the alcohol these guys would drink was changa. So we're looking and we're saying we're in Lenana, and Lenana that time depends which girls' school you are. You are saying you are in Lenana, or you are saying you are Duke of York, which was the colonial name. So depending on who you are talking to. So we're wondering, this is one of the best schools in the country. Why? Changa is for failures, useless people, alcoholics, people who have failed, somebody you see sleeping on the roadside. How do they drink Changa? So at one point, just curiosity, these prefects are always drinking. Let's try. So we tried, and of course the effect was the same. So now we've been there for a very long time saying it's for failures. So how do you change the story? So somebody said, but this Changa is made by our Kenyan mothers who use this money to take their children and pay school fees in Kenyan currency in Kenyan schools. So let's drink Kenya, we build Kenya. So that's how we changed the story. Now we started drinking Changa. At this point, also some of my buddies have graduated to cannabis, bangi. So, they're saying, try, you're still smoking cigarettes. Cigarettes are for juniors. So I'm thinking to myself, because in my head, we all know that at that time, we all assumed wrongly that alcohol and cigarettes, tobacco are not drugs. Drugs are things like bangi, cannabis, heroin, cocaine. Those are drugs. But alcohol and cigarettes, those are not drugs. So I'm telling them, no, I don't do drugs. So they're laughing. These cigarettes, those are for first formers or second formers. We used to call them rebels. So at one point I tried. And I had a very bad experience with it. So it's like you are flying the plane and you are seeing it's going to a mountain and you're trying to turn the plane, but it's crashing through the mountain. It's coming to land. It's taking off again. Like I'm seeing my body sitting there and I'm telling myself, get up. But I can't get up and I'm laughing stupidly. So I said, God, if you help me land this plane, I am not boarding it again. And actually, from that first experience, I did not touch bangi again until I was in Form 6, like 3 years later. Which I had a bad experience. But some of my colleagues graduated. Now they were on bangi as well. And now, where do you get the money? Because your pocket money is 200 bob. Where do you get the money to drink? Because literally now, we're drinking every other day. So that is when I started stealing from home. I first started with my mom's handbag when she was taking a bath, took some little money during the holidays. Then my dad's wallet, just a bit, like that. So by the time I'm getting to school, I had like 1,000 bob. And I used to get the maximum pocket money, 200. So like now I have the 200 bob, which you hand in to the pocket money master. You cannot have cash on you. So every Friday, you would sign out some few shillings to go to the canteen. So you're buying soda, biscuits, things like that, snacks. If you are found with money on you, it was the same like if you were found with drugs or you were found that you've taken drugs, it was an automatic 2-week suspension. So those days there wasn't anything, the board, no, automatic. In fact, just pack and go and pick your letter and go. And then you come back with your parents. So I've given him the 200 bob. Here is the 1,000 shillings. So I asked one of my buddies, I was doing odd jobs for my folks. They paid me. I have this extra money, which now we can use to buy our things. So where do we hide it? Or what do we do with it? So again, my colleague said, even me. What? Then a third one, even me. Of course, later on, we found we were all thieves. We were all stealing. And then there were some guys who, the families they were coming from, there wasn't that money available to steal. So now they start stealing from fellow students. And it's all to buy these the various drugs now we are using. And of course, my studies have gone way down. And every time I go home, I'm being asked, so I'm saying, there's a teacher there who doesn't like me. I wasn't feeling well, and so on and so forth. So essentially, that's how I moved until fourth form. And fourth form, we used to have end of year party every end of year. So for the fourth formers, there would be a message from the headmaster, people who are outstanding either in sports or academics or whatever. And the message that year to me was not because I was outstanding in academics or sports like my two brothers, my younger brothers who followed me, and we all ended up in Tomboy House. So that's why we were now called, because there you were called by your surname. So now there are three Ogots in that house. So I was Ogot senior, then there was Ogot middle, and Ogot small. So the message was, the headmaster wishes me well wherever I will go. But even if I get 6 points, I'm not coming back to Lenana. And what had happened, things would happen, guys are caught. So they say I was the ringleader, but I was never caught. But at some point, the teachers came to know that it can't be every time this guy's name is cropping up. So it must be he's involved, possibly even the ringleader, it's just we've never caught him. So anyway, I did not get 6 points. I actually got Division 2, but because I failed in maths, and I failed in maths consistently from Form 1, because in primary school, I was doing the kawaida maths, where 2 plus 2 is 4. Then I get to Lenana, and I'm being told there's something called new maths, and because of this, I don't know what, suddenly, so I used to ask people, if you go, you buy some alcohol, let's say 2 beers here, a beer there, some loose cigarettes, etc. Do you calculate your change in old maths or new maths? So why are you filling your head with things you are not going to use? But my dad pleaded with me, get even an 8. 9 was the lowest, 1 was the highest. He pleaded, get even an 8. Because at that time, if you failed in English or maths, you automatically were dropped 1 division. So I didn't make it, so my from Division 2 dropped to Division 3, so off to Aga Khan High School. Now, by this time, that tolerance I was saying, I'm now literally drinking every day. So I'm saying, hallelujah, it's good I'm in boarding school, a day school. So now, after roll call in the morning, we used to go up to the library or to the toilets and jump through the windows. We used to call it paratrooping, and jump through the windows and go to a place next door, which I understand was demolished the other day, called, not Munir, is it called Muniris? I understand it was demolished the other day. So it was a kind of just a local, very basic bar. You are sitting on benches, etc. with Nyamachoma. And we would go to ABC Place, the shopping center, to steal. We used to steal alcohol. There used to be miniature bottles, small bottles. So we would steal alcohol and cigarettes. So that's the way we went as we proceeded. But you see, we are doing these things backdoor. So once we jump out, we are again going to girls' schools. So you're going to school A, and you are telling Jane, I love you so much. You are the only being in my Gideri. Those days we didn't have Google to Google what to tell girls, so you had to come up with your own stuff. Then you go to the next school, you tell Susan, you are the only sugar in my tea, and so on and so forth. Then when it's getting near time of school out at 3:30, we start heading back. You change into uniform, you go home. So folks ask you, how was school? Fine. Have you done your homework? Yes. So we're not doing these things in front of the teachers. Such that, and then again we formed a gang called Magnificent Seven. Okay, there were 3 of us from Lenana. So now you're in a new place, you don't know anybody, so first you gravitate to the guys you know. And then the other thing we had in common, we were all smokers and drinkers of alcohol, except one guy. He only drank alcohol, but he didn't smoke. So we told him, if you want to be a member of this group, you must be a smoker. So we got him smoking within like a week. So one of those guys, who's now my brother-in-law, so can't mention, we were made school prefects in waiting at the end of Form 5. So bottom line was, you are waiting because the guys in Form 6 are studying for exams. So you guys stand in some of the duties, and then when you transit the following year to Form 6, you are whatever. I did not last a term, the rest of the term, because we started taking bribes. Because the first time I put somebody in detention, I had to come and supervise. And then you are wearing uniform. You are passing through town. Girls are seeing you in school uniform on a Saturday. And a Saturday is a major drinking day. So from that time now, no putting you in detention, toa kitu kidogo. So I think some student went and reported us to the headmaster. They set a trap. We were caught, so we were demoted. But I do not think up to today my parents know that I was demoted, because every day I would still live with that uniform, with my whatevers, then change before I get to school, etc. So time came now for A-levels, and me, I saw it's only 3 subjects, one of which is my favorite subject, English. So and that's when I started chewing Mira, because coffee doesn't go too well with me. So guys said, now, if you're not doing coffee, how do you stay awake? Chew Mira. So that's how I chewed Mira, and I was not sleeping, and I was reading. They didn't tell me you will not remember what you read. So that was the end of that. It was reflected in my A-level results. I got 4 subsidiaries. A subsidiary, the way I explain it, it means you didn't pass, you didn't fail. It proves you did A-levels. So that was the end of my story with school. By that time, I had written 2 novels out of a series of 6. The first one was called My Dear Prefects. The second one was called Ghost of Uhuru. Uhuru was the name of the high school in my stories. So a bunch of kids. The third one was Mission to Uganda. So based on a bunch of school kids and what they were doing. 2 of those novels later were Ministry of Education recommended readers for high school. I was featured in Sunday Nation, the youngest author in Kenya, blah, blah, blah. So I used to tell people, and I'd done interviews on TV. So I was telling people, this masomo is for what? Me, I'm going to be a famous author like my mom. So at the end of the day, of course, now I'm drinking. I'm now a DDO, daily drinking officer. And you are starting to get into trouble because, one, I am drinking in the morning wherever I didn't go home. And my parents, my mom will not allow my dad to sleep because my dad is telling my dad to go and look for me. I could be sick, I could have been in an accident, something could have happened. So my dad is asking my mom, where is she going to look for me? Because by this time you're finding, when I'm being asked, where are you going? I'm saying out. With who? My friends. Where? So I would tell my parents, why are you asking me? Me, I'm not a school kid. Why are you asking me so many? I've told you I'm going out with my friends, so I would take off. So my dad would not know where to start looking for me. So at the end of the day, when I come home after 2 or 3 days, he's relieved, I'm in one piece, and then kibokos, I would be caned. So at the end of the day, you're getting into trouble. You go, you drink. It's only the big hotels where you could drink, and without you pay when you are leaving on a bill. Otherwise, these small places, give me a beer. You are told it's how much. You give the money, then it is brought. So, bottom line, we would get caught. You are drinking in a big hotel, and when the waiters are about to change the shift, you take off. Like a guy goes, you're going to the loo, you take off the next guy like that. But sometimes you're caught. And then these guys just want their money. So you're taken to the police station, like Central Police. Then you're given a phone call. Then I would call my mom. My Mom would ask how much is the bill, then would come and pay, then I'm released, things like that. So now my mom started meeting other moms of other of my buddies, and they actually started becoming friends to the point where they're told, my mom is called that we are at police station X. And my mom says, I'm in a meeting, you sort it out and get David also out, I'll sort out the next one. So at some point, somebody now advised my parents, send this guy to India, because in India as a student, he will not be able to access alcohol. They broke the door, they found me, I have, I'm convulsing, I've peed on myself, I'm foaming at the mouth. So they thought it's some kind of epileptic fit. So they got a tuk-tuk, took me to the hospital. The doctor is asking them, this guy has swallowed some medicines. Have you come with the boxes so that we know how to treat him? Of course, they hadn't thought of that, but then they were told anyway he'll be dead by morning. So they went to the students leader, Kenyan Students Association leader, CASA. He sent a telegram to my mom that come arrange to pick your son's body. He committed suicide. The doctors have said he'll be dead by morning.